Alafia. I'm Philip Neimark, the founder of the Ifa Foundations in North and Latin America. And welcome to the Ifa blog. The Ifa blog is an area that for several years now I have allowed myself the space or the room for ruminating or examining certain kind of general things that probably play a more pragmatic place or importance in the lives of people trying to understand, benefit from, and integrate Ifa Orisha practice into their everyday lives. And I thought today it would be interesting to examine why it is that certain people fail to benefit from it, fail to, quote, have their wishes answered. Everybody doesn't succeed in Ifa. We wouldn't be living in the world we're living in if that were the case. The necessity of people understanding and successfully integrating it into their lives is becoming increasingly important in our culture. But the evidence points specifically to certain reasons that the vast majority of individuals fail to benefit from Ifa and fail to benefit the world from practicing Ifa. First and foremost, and we'll just dismiss with that right away, is the number of practitioners who have no moral standards, no intellectual understanding, and a corrupt worldview as they deal with the public under the auspices of being Ifa priest or high chief whatever or any other name. And for almost 40 years the foundation has answered calls, responded to emails, dealt with individuals, one after the other, who have been victims of this kind of behavior. Most recently, a young lady called me and she was furious. She wanted the elders of the community, and I guess I was included, if nothing else, because of age, in that group, to do something about the individual whose website mentioned me and the Bimble and blah, 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 who had done all these horrible things to her. And when I said to her, do you understand that you are, at least in part, a co-conspirator in your own demise? She wasn't too pleased. Because I said, you have a responsibility, not simply to take on faith that which can't be demonstrated, the promises or the credentials or whatever of the person that promised you all these things, but to look into it, to look into their lives, their character, their behaviors. And I don't know anything about this person. I don't even want to know his name. But what I can promise you is that if I were to see them, or if you look back on the experience, there is no way under God's earth that I would ever think of trading places with their life. Their lives always reflect the chaos, the unsettledness, the unhappiness, the conflicts, the lack of relationships in a meaningful way, the lack of family in a meaningful way, that should have been alarm bells going off before you ever got involved. I'll do more about that later in another blog, by the way, and in some of the mending that I'm doing to what you should look for in an Ifa priest. But the other big reason for those people, even if they connect with those who are skilled, well-meaning, educated, practice the correct worldview, the vast majority of those that fail do so because Either they don't have the character, or they don't have the focus or determination, or a combination of all of those things to do the work. Ifa is not magic. Ifa is not about, oh, I think I'll put this under, a shoe, or I think I'll give Oshun this, or whatever, and then magically, my Prince Charming, or my princess, or my perfect job, or my, inheritance will appear out of nowhere. That's for Hollywood. Ifa is a scientific, brilliant system discovered by the Yoruba culture of what is now West Africa, designed to connect with the universal energies that make up our universe, and that can provide us with the information necessary to going forward in a meaningful way towards fulfilling our destiny. Sometimes that is going to require fixing things that we did incorrectly, and we're not expected to be perfect. Sometimes it requires giving up some of those things that we place too much importance on. Sometimes, more often than not, it requires the restructuring of basic values that we've had, false things that we've accepted. First and foremost, that it's a benevolent universe here to help you, not a constant war. But they don't do it. And why don't they do it? They don't do it because it's hard. They're supposed to take the information, think about it, integrate it into their matrix, and partner with it in a way that information plus action underlined with character and hard work will always get it done. But hard work is not what they're into. And a benevolent universe is not what they really believe in. Because if they really believed in character, in hard work, in self-discipline, in long-term thinking and planning, in the avoidance of short-term gratification, they would not be living their lives in that way. They come asking to change. But what they want to change is the outcome, not the reasons for doing it, not the underlying values, not the hard work and the self-empowerment that Ifa insists upon and offers to us. These are the people, by the way, reminds me of the days 40 years ago when I had one of the largest commodity clearinghouses in the United States. And it was amazing to me how people, doctors, lawyers, retired soldiers, whatever, would open up these commodity accounts and they would act unintelligently with no self-discipline, the character issue we won't even get into, and they would burn themselves out. They would lose all their money. And you know what they would do? Rather than going and learning, rather than going and utilizing some self-discipline and hard work and partnering with information, they would blame it on the broker. And they would simply go to a different broker at a different commodity house, whether they were coming to us or whether they were leaving us, and do the same things again and again. There's a difference, by the way, between the two reasons I've given you. There's a huge difference between investing your money with Bernie Madoff, a thief, no character, no worthwhile values that I have ever been able to see, and you are displaying unrealistic expectations or wishes as if they would magically appear because somebody was trying to tell you how to get there. and you were not willing to do the work, the partnership, or the understanding necessary. Look, there's Babalaos, and there's Iyanifa, and there's Orisha priests for all kinds of people with all kinds of needs. That's one of the beauties of it. That there's no absolute set of rules of what they must practice and what they believe, other than those that have been quite clear to me after 40 years of devoting my life, the foundations, and 30 years of Vassa's life to studying and understanding this philosophy. And that is that worldview, that it's a benevolent universe, that prejudice or discrimination in any group is immoral and self-defeating, that we have an inherent responsibility in symbiotic relationship with every other living creature on this planet, and that our actions are never just about us or what we want, but about what we could want or should want that would work in coordination and conjunction with all those other relationships and for the good of the whole. And the two things necessary to make that happen are good character and self-discipline. It's that simple. It's never magic, but with those two things, it's magical. So next time you see somebody complaining about the philosophy or offering to fix it for you, look at their lives. Would you trade places? Do they have lasting, loving relationships? Are they inherently healthy? Do they consider other people? Do they act with good character? If the answer to any one of those questions, plus a host of others I'll list soon, is no, you have two choices. Suck it up, run away, exhibit the character and self-discipline to get it done, or to seek out yet another in the unending string of those who would tell you what you want to hear rather than what you need, and keep you on a never-ending treadmill of blaming others rather than taking personal responsibility and going forward with your life and the lives of those you love. Until next time, love and blessings.